Villain. It's a simple word, a label we use for those who choose darkness over light. And for years, Loki of Asgard has worn that label perfectly. The god of mischief, the prince of lies, the villain who brought war to Earth. We saw the jealousy, the ambition, the hunger for a throne. But have we been watching the right story? What if we've only been shown the final act of a tragedy without understanding the chapters that came before? What if the villain we love to hate was actually the hero of a different story, a story that was never told? Today, we are not here to judge Loki. We are here to put his story on trial. We will investigate the 3 deadly mistakes, none of which were his own, that took a prince, a son, a brother, and systematically forged him into the monster Asgard needed him to be. This is the case for Loki Odinson. The first mistake, the foundational trauma, wasn't a battle, but a lie told to a baby. It was the theft of Loki's identity by Odin. When Odin found an abandoned frost giant infant, he made a choice. In the original myths, Loki and Odin were blood brothers, equals who swore an oath. But in the story Odin created for Asgard, he cast himself as the savior and Loki as the saved. And the secret, this lie, was a poison. Loki was raised to believe he was an Asgardian prince, yet he was fundamentally different. He was taught to hate the very thing he was, a frost giant. This created a deep psychological wound, a textbook case of identity crisis and imposter syndrome. He could never feel truly at home because home was built on a lie about who he was. The moment he confronts Odin, holding the casket of ancient winters, his terrified question says it all. What am I? Odin's cold, political answer seals his fate. You are my son. It was not an answer of love, but an assertion of ownership. Odin didn't just lie about Loki's origin. He denied Loki the right to his own heritage and his own identity. He turned a person into a political secret. This was the first deadly mistake. The second mistake was a slow burn, an act of emotional neglect committed by an entire kingdom every single day. It was the theft of Loki's recognition. Asgardian culture worships a very specific type of strength, the strength of the warrior. Thor, with his hammer and his brawn, was their perfect champion. His arrogance was seen as confidence, his recklessness as bravery. Loki's strengths, however, were of a different kind. They were the feminine arts of magic and intellect. The only person who truly nurtured these gifts was his mother, Frigga. She taught him magic. She saw his true worth. For everyone else, including his father, his talents were suspicious. His magic was trickery. His intelligence was deception. We see countless examples where his illusions and clever plans save the day. Yet the glory always goes to Thor's final punch. This constant invalidation creates a desperate hunger. He isn't just jealous of Thor's power. He's starved for the approval that Thor receives so effortlessly. Asgard, by its own prejudice, refused to see the hero standing right in front of them, simply because he didn't look like the hero they expected. They stole his chance to be recognized for who he truly was. This was the second deadly mistake. The third mistake came when Loki was at his absolute lowest. After his identity was shattered and his worth denied, he lets go of the Bifrost, choosing oblivion over a return to Asgard. But he doesn't find oblivion. He finds something far worse. He finds Thanos. We must understand what this means. Thanos is a master of breaking people. He would have taken every insecurity, every ounce of pain that Odin and Asgard had inflicted upon Loki, and he would have twisted it into a weapon. The Loki who emerges in the Avengers is not just a would-be king. He is a traumatized survivor, a puppet whose strings are being pulled by a cosmic tyrant. The Mind Stone in his scepter wasn't just a weapon he wielded. It was a poison that amplified his rage and paranoia, clouding his judgment. The invasion of New York was a monstrous act, but it was a symphony conducted by Thanos, with Loki as the unwilling first violin. The universe saw a soul in agony, and instead of offering help, it handed him over to a monster. This theft of his will, this final push into villainy when he was most vulnerable, was the third deadly mistake. So, was Loki born a villain? The evidence overwhelmingly suggests otherwise. A person's identity is stolen. Their worth is denied. Their will is hijacked. He was forged in the fire of a father's lie, hammered on the anvil of a kingdom's prejudice, and then plunged into the icy waters of a tyrant's control. Yes, he made terrible choices, but the path he walked was paved for him by the mistakes of others. His entire arc, including his final noble sacrifice against the very tyrant who enslaved him, was a rebellion against the role he was forced to play. The final verdict belongs to you, the jury. After hearing all the evidence, what is your judgment? Is Loki a master villain who chose his path, or the tragic hero of a story written by the mistakes of others? Let us know in the comments.